Testing. Secure your Elixir apps with Paraxial.io. From code analysis and bot defense to dependency checks, they've got you covered. Elixir first design with GitHub integration. Elevate your security at Paraxial.io. What's up? I'm Jacob Blitzo, your Elixir Mentor, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Elixir Mentor Podcast. This is where we discuss everything related to Elixir, from interviews with enthusiasts, pioneers in the community, to innovative projects and libraries shaping Elixir's future. I'm happy to welcome back Alex and Peter. Due to popular demand, we're doing another double guest show, so I think this will be a lot of fun. It's a little less planned, not really a topic, but welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us, Jacob. Thanks for asking us back after last time.
I know, it was a hard decision. I was like, I don't know if I can have those guys back.
I know, but then all the other guests, they declined, and you were like, no, I'm stuck with these two.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pretend to like them.
You're going to have to pull that emergency lever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we were just talking about Peter's puppy, and it's in the teething stage, and he's enjoying that.
Well, yeah, so much. I mean, yeah, we got a Labrador puppy for after Christmas. It was just not a Christmas gift or anything. It was just like a happy coincidence. And now she's 4 months old, so yeah, she's losing her teeth, and she thinks playing means to bite the other person in the face. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you see this picture here. That's her.
Oh yeah,
it's too bright though.
It came through. There it is.
Yeah, there you go. That's her. Yeah, so she keeps me up at night. You know, wakes me up in the morning. Beautiful.
Did you say her name's Bella?
Yeah, her name's Bella. B-E-L-L-A.
Nice.
In Italian, it means beautiful. So.
Yeah, I used to have a Bella as well.
There you go.
Yeah. That's awesome.
In German, also to bark means bellen. Like if a dog is bellen. So it kind of
works.
Matches. It works, yeah.
That's awesome. I don't like, puppies are cute, but I don't miss the piranha stage. Jack's, he's a Belgian Malinois, also known as the Maligator, and they tear you up.
Man, we have what they call a land shark.
Yeah, there we go.
Like a land shark. Yeah, she's cute and all. And, it's the same thing. Like with kids and with dogs. You look at the puppy, the babies, you're like, oh, they're so cute. And then their parents look and you're like, yeah, she's super cute, but also she's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have that experience. It's also called the puppy blues after you get a puppy, because you're all excited and so cute. And then you have to wake up 3 times per night because she otherwise, pees on your carpet. So, yeah, we've been through that phase. Now it's the barking phase. Let's see. Hopefully the next phase is going to be a bit more relaxed. But I also heard that then teenagehood starts, and then they have a lot of energy, want to hump everything. Although she's a female, that's better. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
It's fun. It is fun. It's worth it. Yeah, my poor guy, we just got like a crazy ice storm a couple weeks ago, and he jumped out of my truck. Both his front paws slipped behind him, and he smashed his teeth and had to have 2 teeth yanked. So now he's got, he's got some buck teeth with 2 side teeth missing.
Were the big ones where they tend to the meat with?
No. Luckily, it was just like front teeth, just
right.
Not the canines, but yeah.
Okay. You must look funny now with like a gap between the teeth.
Dude, it's pretty funny. Like, you don't always see it, but like he sneezed the other day and they just showed, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah, my neighbor's dog, whenever he got a haircut, he was super shy afterwards. He was kind of embarrassed, to go outside. Like, does yours do the same now that he has different teeth?
No, he seems pretty good. I don't think he knows what's going on, honestly, other than his face doesn't hurt anymore.
Okay, he's probably coming down from the narcotics still. So
yeah, for real.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Alex, you also had a dog back in the day, right?
Yeah, back in the day, we had an English Springer Spaniel. He loved the water. He's a good boy.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, Alex has some exciting news since the last time they were on. Elixir Patterns is officially out of
It's
beta,
done.
right?
It's
Yeah.
done. It was out of beta a few weeks ago. Release candidate for a couple weeks, and now it's 1.0. That's it. It's done.
That's
Hugo
it.
and I have been working on the print version now, and then after the print version is done, yeah, that's it for Elixir patterns. There's no more patterns to be discussed. Everything's been discovered.
Do you think it's going to be the Gang of Four of Elixir? Gang of Four book?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
So like in 30 years, the students in high school or university, they're going to read your book?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah.
It's got to feel good when that physical copy arrives and you just can add it to your bookshelf of accomplishments.
It's quite nice. Like I got a proof copy printed and it came out really nice. But I actually have it on my desk because there's a few things in there that I always reference, like the crypto module. I find the docs, like even now that we've switched from the Erlang docs to the Hex docs version, they're still a little tough to scout and figure out what's going on with the crypto module. So I always just flip to my page in the book. I'm like, okay, these are the arguments, these are the parameters that you need to pass, and boom, voila.
Oh yeah.
Cody is asking if they can get a link to the patterns book. I will make sure I add it to the show notes after this, but you should be able to find it just Googling Elixir patterns.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job with the SEO. If you search Elixir patterns, it's either like number 1 or number 2 on Google. And if that doesn't work, I think it's elixirpatterns.dev. You can see elixirpatterns.dev.
Nice design too.
Yeah, that's all Hugo. I can't take any credit.
I was about to say it wasn't your work, right, Alex?
Dang, are you bashing his UI skills?
No. Actually, Alex is a better designer than I am, I would say.
Yeah, my OCD comes in handy there. Like if I see something that just doesn't sit right, and then I just keep fiddling with it.
But I'm like, it's a button. You can click it. It works. Yeah.
I leverage AI for a lot of UI design.
Interesting. I never used that. How do you use that?
I'll like give it like my horrible, Heeks document, and I'll be like, but I want it to look like this, and clean this up, and then it slowly, forms into what.
I'll say, how close does it get? And what do you use? ChatGPT or like Claude?
I'll usually use Claude, and then Claude is pretty good with Heeks templates.
Okay.
But like I find like there is definitely a split. You can't really rely on Claude for the live view end of things and events, but it's pretty good with UI.
Yeah. I recently used ChatGPT. What's the best model? O1, I think it is, right? But I use that trying to put together a Rustler library for KA text. It's like the
nice
equation generator. And it spit out a bunch of code, and I was like, all right, this is roughly the same way I would do it. But yeah, it messed up a few subtle things, and it was in the end I couldn't get it to work. So I think we still have job security, guys. I think we're okay still for a while.
You need to have like good code smell to use AI, I think, because you have to know when it returns something, you're like, yeah, that's kind of garbage.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I asked it to is, it's pretty complicated. It was run KA text inside of Deno runtime or Deno core, in a Rustler NIF, and it spit out some stuff, but just didn't do the job.
Yeah.
So I think we're good still, guys.
I'll have it help me write like little fragment, like, ecto fragment queries when I'm like struggling to get what I need. But for them, I think we have some job security for a while.
Yeah. Don't listen to the grifters on like YouTube that are like, buy my course so you can survive the next generation of development with AI.
What would actually make really good content? I want to see someone write an app they take to production without writing a line of code and only relying on what AI outputs.
Well, you can actually watch a video by the Primogen about that. He uses what's it called, Devon, right? The AI developer.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious. Like the first video, he pays $500 for this thing, right? And then he starts up and he says, well, create something simple. Like he just set up the Git project basically and push it to master, right? And he wants to build like a ping pong game or something. But like just the first thing is so like he tells, okay, go to this Git branch, generate, create the project, push it. and that's it. Like just basic stuff. It's hilarious because for like 45 minutes, he tries to instruct Devin to please push it to GitHub. And Devin just times out after 5 minutes. He doesn't do anything. And then also he said, the Primogen says, well, maybe don't push it to a feature branch because he thinks maybe whatever the branch doesn't work. Just go back to main and push it to main. And then Devin comes back and says, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. You should never push directly to main, without a proper code review.
I'm getting like was it Space Odyssey 2000 vibes. I can't push to master or main, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. But it is probably the funniest video I've seen last year, which is just the Primogen trying to get Devin to push this project to GitHub. And then he also says, well, every time he runs the query, like the prompt, he pays like $1 because Devin, you pay $500 per month, but you also pay the time that you use to and it's just so bad. And then you think, and that's what people get, we're riled up about, that Devin is going to take over all the developer jobs, and it can't even like create a project and push it to production.
But that's the funny thing, because now you have somebody who's a domain expert trying to prompt it and like pushing it in a way that, like, if the domain expert can't push the large language model to do the thing, how's anybody else going to do it, right? Like the product manager is not going to say push to main. He's going to just say, I want to make the thing.
Right.
And then there's going to be a whole bunch of compilation errors, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then it stops. But so to be honest, I was also quite skeptical, like when ChatGPT started and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I saw the use for it, and if you want to do research about a particular topic, it might give you a lot of pointers, which I always appreciate. But for coding, I always thought, it's not gonna get there. And I mean, that has been pretty much the most of last year. However, I found in my own workflow 1 or 2 situations now, or actually like a few, where I do use AI, and I use it in Zed, like Zed, the editor. Because it has like really nice inline. I press like Control Enter or something, and then it opens up this like inline prompt thing, and I can say just rewrite this function. But it also has a side view where I can just insert an entire file, so /file, and then the current file that I have open, and I tell it, write unit tests for this or something. And that actually, I use Claude like as an API call, and that works really, really well. But so for a long time, especially for Elixir code, like it didn't work. ChatGPT, I think, still doesn't work that well for Elixir code. Claude works much better. But what I do nowadays a lot is I write tests with it, unit tests.
Yeah, I do too. It's amazing. Like I'll write, add some new functions to a module, and I'll be like, all right, now just add these unit tests to this test file. And 9 times out of 10, it actually hits it pretty good.
Yeah, so, and also just like setting up the unit test file for you, like use my project, data case, all that like writing stuff. Like I have to write it every single time I create a file. So it does it for me. And I can also tell it for mocking, for example, use Mimic for mocking, that kind of stuff. So I always have to edit it. It's never done, but it already just gives me the scaffolding. And then I can just, change parts as I think I need to. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it for unit tests and for the autocomplete. Like if you're refactoring something, instead of just, shortcut keys and highlighting things, you can usually just start. And if it's a repetition, it'll just go with like a tab with the autocomplete, which is nice.
I have that now in ZAI predictions, they call it, but it didn't really work for me. It was too slow.
I've been using a cursor, which I'm pretty happy with, and it works pretty well.
I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about cursor.
Yeah,
I'm on the fence. Code. I always go back to VS Code, though, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't have anything for Vim. Do they even have any like AI bots or agents for Vim or NeoVim? Or is it
most likely, right? Yeah, most probably.
I don't use anything. I just.
No, you do. You said you used ChatGPT for generating some Rust code.
That was the one time, and I was sorely disappointed. And and my intuitions were right that I just should never use AI chatbots again. So I'm gonna go back to like hibernation for another year and never prompt again for any code.
Yeah. Well, I guess the UX is also a big part of it, and I think Zed did a good job of adding it to their editor. And I was very skeptical when they did, because I was like, oh, come on, I already have my ChatGPT window, I don't want to have it inside my editor. But now, especially this like shortcut Control Enter, it's super useful. Yeah. And I find it especially useful if I have to write languages that I'm not that familiar with. So I've been doing a little bit of .NET, a little bit of Rust, a little bit of JavaScript. Yeah, and that stuff is just, you just set in Rust especially, you just say, well, generate me this function, because I have no clue how to write anything in Rust. And I can fix stuff, but I can't write it myself. So if I just tell, Claude, hey, generate me this function that does this, it actually does a pretty good job. And then I just have to fix the small problems. Yeah. So it's really helpful in that regard.
There's my dog joining the conversation.
He's nice. In a smile. There's be a gap in the front.
Yeah. But he's so calm. He doesn't bite you. How do you do it?
Dude, he used to be so bad. I had to always just replace my hand with a chew toy, You just have to be like, no, don't do that. Chew on this.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, what are those sleeves that the law enforcement uses for training the dogs? You get one of those.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, probably.
The bite work. I never did that. I kind of wish I would have started that with him when he was a puppy, because I think he would have really liked it.
Yeah. Oh, with the Belgian Malinois, it's in their blood.
Yeah, dude.
They pick that stuff up quick.
Yeah, man. The videos of them just like darting across fields and taking people out in bite suits is wild.
Yeah. Well, my Labrador won't do that. My Labrador will just like run up to them, in their like jumpy style, and then jump up to them because they want to be pet.
Yeah,
snuggle them to death.
The friendliest dog in the world, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to mention one more tool that I really enjoy using, like one AI tool. It's called Kerlig, Kerlig. Kerlig, I think, yeah, Kerlig. And it's written by somebody that I've been following for quite some time on the social networks. And it's just like a little wrapper for your desktop for macOS. It's kind of like these raycasts where you just like press two buttons and it pops up a little window. And that one is super useful for proofreading your text.
Oh, nice.
And like almost everything I write, like blog posts, emails, especially if it's not in English or in German, but like I write, Dutch emails, and I don't always get the grammar right. So I just like select the whole text and I click the shortcut. For me, it's like Alt space, I think. And then it pops up this window and it already has the text that I selected previously inserted in the window. And then it already has like a first command as well, like an action where I can say just like proofread this thing. So I just like select text, Alt space, enter, and then it sends it to Claude and it proofread it. It gives me back a fixed solution, just the text, no like blah blah around it. And I can, again, like another action, I just select insert and space, and then it goes back into my program and it just replaces the entire text.
Nice.
So this way, like, man, I love this thing. I always want to give more to the developer, but he doesn't want it somehow.
And it's just a one-time purchase, huh?
Yeah, it's I think yearly now. Like you can use it forever, but if you want to get the updates, it's annual. But man, it's just, I would give it like 2, 3, 4 times that money. Honestly.
Yeah, Kerlig.com. I'll make sure that's in the show notes too. Yeah. Give him some shout outs. That's how you can give back to him.
Yeah.
I noticed that Mac has it built in, like some proofreading stuff that I haven't really tinkered with. So I'd be curious to see how well that works versus this. Obviously, go support the small developers because their tools are cooler.
Yeah, wasn't that like one of Mac's big announcements? It was like, I don't know, it was like Apple Intelligence or whatever, or Siri Intelligence. Like AI is part of every app now in OS X.
Yeah, which makes me kind of concerned, honestly.
Yeah,
everything is analyzed now. Everything on your iPhone.
Everything.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft did it really bad, where they're like, "We're screen recording you, so you could find anything in the past, but don't worry."
And then like a huge security flaw, like opens up your screen recordings to the world or something, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Everybody live streams. I'm a live streamer.
All the time, especially every password that you actually people ask, like, what are passwords? Yeah, they're just part of your log because we don't know that they're passwords. So like every keystroke that you do is logged. It's just
I thought
wild.
keyloggers were a bad thing in the 90s.
Yeah, not anymore. Not if
No.
Microsoft does them.
It's a built-in feature from Microsoft.
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed you're having trouble logging into your account. Would you like me to provide the password that you used last time?
Exactly. And every hacker's like, well, thank you very much, Microsoft.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this future where AI is getting stuffed into literally everything. Like I feel like the last 10 years, subscriptions were stuffed into everything. Like from heated seats in BMWs to like the most ridiculous of things. And now we're gonna get AI stuffed into everything. So like every 10 years we have like a new trend. And
But wait, did you just call heated seats useless?
No, I didn't say they were useless. I said paying for them monthly. That was the big thing with BMW. They were like, every car is going to have heated seats, but in order to enable them, you got to pay $5 a month. Yeah,
I forgot that they did that. Yeah, that is so dumb.
That's what they want you to do. They want you to forget.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Like, oh, sorry, we're going to turn that feature off.
Like, it's like all the hardware is there. You're literally just paywalling what I purchased and I have like physically in my hand.
Yeah, and that you already paid for. I mean, you paid for the extra money for the seat heating, and now you also have to pay monthly for it. Like,
but I feel like we're gonna get the same thing now with AI agents. It's like all the software is there. I could manually invoke some sort of an action on like Pages or Keynote or whatever, but they're gonna be like, no, you gotta use it through the agent. That's the only like in through there. And it's like, no, I'd prefer clicking a button or like using a hotkey. I don't want to go through an agent or anything like that.
But to enable that button, it's going to be $5 a month.
It's a SaaS feature.
Yeah. I mean, what I hate is support. Like if you have a support chat, and every single one of them, and also this is one of these use cases where every single AI company says, we are going to revolutionize support, customer support. And every single time it's just complete crap. Like
it's terrible.
Yeah, whenever you speak with them, like they can never solve. I mean, sure, they can give me the FAQ, like the help document, but I can also find it myself if you have just a good freaking search engine. Like you don't need to have an AI. And also that way you have better SEO, because if I'm searching on Google for the problem, I might immediately find the help doc that you want to give me anyway, right? But no, like everything has to be an AI, and then it doesn't work. And then I always go like, just connect me to a customer support person. I don't want to just connect me to the customer support person, because no, if I already clicked that button, I want to talk to a person, not an AI bot that again tells me everything I already read.
Then they'll be like, I can't seem to find that when you ask for a support person. Would you like to be connected to a support person?
Exactly.
The funny thing with those is like they're just using the regular old models like ChatGPT and Claude. So you could probably use that as your free code prompting tool.
People did that. People did. It's so funny. I saw screenshots of people just asking, "Can you write me like a prime number math equation so that I can find prime numbers with?" In the Amazon, ask something about the product chat box, and it must feel, like this one thing from what is it, Rick and Morty, right? Where Rick builds the butter robot. Like the little robot, and then the robot has intelligence and it's sentient and it's tiny on the table, and it comes up to Rick and it asks, "Sir, here's your butter, but may I ask, what is my purpose?" And Rick is like, "You serve me butter." Yeah, although it's a completely sentient being. Yeah, I don't know. But so one thing that you mentioned earlier, Alex, like I don't like having AI being shoved in my face. And I rather want to have my own tools that I can set up, like Curlic or ZAI, whatever. And I also want to be able to choose different models, right? In Z, for example, you can set up, I don't know, almost every model, like big model that's out there. So you can have Claude and ChatGPT and something else, and you can switch between them as you go.
Oh, that's nice. Can you self-host like R1 locally from DeepSeek?
Most probably, yeah. I mean, you can also give it a URL, I guess, and then connect to it directly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there my paranoia kicks in. It's like, oh, like
I
this
know.
third-party service has like literally all my code. So in
Yeah,
addition to helping me, solve my problems today, it's also probably indexing everything
of
for
course.
people to
Yeah,
query tomorrow.
of
And it's
course.
like, all you need is somebody to do a prompt in like 2 years, like perfectly crafted, and it's like, hey, we're gonna leak all this other stuff that we've been indexing over the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's an
So
interesting one. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah, that
see. In
was
you
that
can
was like
pay.
the just quick note there. Like with DeepSeek R1, you couldn't ask it because it was trained in China, right? So you couldn't
Yeah,
ask it anything about Tiananmen Square.
no.
But if you asked it with like all base 64 encoded, like the question was base 64 encoded or something like that, it
Mm.
would tell you about Tiananmen Square. So like
Yeah,
there are ways to prompt the LLM in a way where maybe the person creating the LLM didn't initially intend. So I'd prefer not publishing everything to some trusted third party.
yeah.
And then
You don't want to use Chat CPP.
no, absolutely not.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
a very paranoid person. So
I know.
I
Yeah, no.
am, I am, but also there are moments where I'm just like too lazy to be paranoid. Like I'm like,
yeah,
I know all this data is going somewhere, but I'm too lazy to like try to.
don't care enough. That you haven't hit the
Yeah.
care enough threshold.
I mean,
Yeah.
I should care. I care like a little bit with certain things, but and then sometimes it's like, whatever.
Mm. Well, or
Yeah,
you could pay 100,000 a year and you get business access to ChatGPT. And if you do that, then they promise you that they don't store your data because they
you
want to
you
have businesses
you
using it.
really trust that?
It's in the contract, you know.
It would be interesting. Like, are you allowed to audit how their learning models
I've been
learn?
through enough
Good one.
startups and I've seen enough contracts that I don't trust contracts.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot we wrote that in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Everything gets conveniently forgotten
Yeah,
when money shows up.
that was actually the biggest problem also in previous companies I worked for because we had these huge knowledge bases and we wanted to feed it to ChatGPT or like an AI so that we can query it as employees, but also as external customers. They can also query our language or knowledge base, basically. Yeah, but like you can't use any of the models. Like you can't use ChatGPT or Claude because they store all your internal documentation on their servers, use it for their training purposes. So all your trade secrets, all the secrets of your company just go away, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, imagine one day like they index enough and it's like, oh, these guys have a cool idea, but they haven't patented anything. We've also scanned the
exactly.
entire patent database, so we're going to patent it automatically, and then we're going to hold these these people hostage over
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're already kind of all screwed if you use GitHub because that's what Microsoft is doing to
Yes.
leverage all their
See,
stuff.
you're tugging on a paranoia string of mine. It's like I got to get out of GitHub now.
It doesn't even matter if you have, your private repos or business
No.
accounts.
I uncheck that box where it's like allow my repo to be used for AI purposes.
I think, yeah, I've unchecked those as well, but does that do anything?
That's yeah. I've been meaning to get out of there.
And
Maybe that's
then
my next open source library is like Elixir powered front end for Git.
there you go. Self-host your own Git.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think actually self-hosting your own models, that will become a bigger deal in the future. I mean, you already saw
Yeah.
that with DeepSeek, that you can host
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
There are other models out there as well, but I mean, they are not as powerful as the big ones. But I think that's going to be a big shift as well again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the general trend with technology, right? Like a company comes out and they have a moat for a certain amount of time. And then, you have a bunch of enthusiasts. They're like, oh, we could do that as well. And then, in addition to funded competitors coming out, you also have enthusiasts coming out with their stuff. And all of a sudden, the moat starts collapsing, and this once upon a time coveted piece of technology is now a commodity, and it's free. It's open source. You can self-host. I think one of the models for R1 you can run on a Raspberry Pi. I'm sure in like a year they're going to optimize it even further. You can run on like a commodity GeForce graphics card now, like the whole shebang. So you just got to wait long enough.
I also think it'll become really important to host your own models that apply to your specific application too, because you don't want just a huge generalized model for everything.
Oh yeah. I think that's gonna be one of the other things where it's like what data can you feed your LLM that nobody else has put together or cleansed or formatted in such a way that your LLM outcompetes a general purpose LLM because you've purpose built it and trained it for this particular domain or this particular problem. I think there you have a little bit more of a niche, but I don't know. I'm not an AI guy.
I'm not either.
I'm just making this stuff up.
Yeah. I've like dabbled in it, and then whenever I talk to someone on here that is like super into LLMs and AI, it's just like, dude, it's like right over my head.
Yeah, you should get Mark Erickson on the podcast because he built a LangChain library.
Yeah.
For Elixir.
Yeah. I have reached out to him before, but I'm sure it got buried in like when you don't follow each other on like Twitter or whatever, they kind of get buried. But he lives pretty close to me. He lives in Utah somewhere. I think
just over the mountain.
Yeah. So
pay him a visit. Do a live podcast.
Just drop in and be like, hey, we're going to do a live podcast. Nice to meet you.
We're on in 15 minutes. Yeah, but I think he might be a good person to talk to because, he has been written this LangChain library, which I really enjoyed. I played around with it a little bit. And it allows you to basically connect your Elixir code to all these different language models and fall over. Like if you want to use like open ChatGPT, and ChatGPT itself is not available at the moment, you can switch over automatically to like one that is hosted by Microsoft themselves. And also it handles all these different differences between different language models, in terms of like what they expect as an API call. Also like system prompts need to be formatted differently, that kind of stuff. And it nicely abstracts everything away, and you just say, create a new LangChain, add a message, wait for a response, So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I built a little ChatGPT
and it's like a live book notebook, huh? Or
you can no, it's a library. You can input it into any Elixir application, but they have a live book, I think, for testing purposes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's another thing I always keep saying I'm gonna really dive into is using Livebook for things, and I still haven't.
I love Livebook. Yeah. I for internal tools or like little one-off scripts, I love it. Like I used to have a directory of like EXS scripts in any one of my projects that I need for random things, but all those have been migrated to Livebooks instead. And it works out quite nicely. Like you spin up the server, and you set the Erlang cookie, then you spin up Livebook, you have it connect there, and then it has access to everything that your project has access to, and you can run your little analytics stuff on your databases. You can write little migration tools. It's pretty nifty.
You connected to your production database then for running like analytics there or something?
I'll usually take like a snapshot of production, run it locally, and then that way I'm not interfering with production traffic and putting too much stress on the database.
Yeah, smart.
So offline analytics.
Yeah.
Chris, we already have product fit here. He said that a Git cloud service based on like secured enclave would be dope. So
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like Gitberg or something like that. I read about them in the news because they were attacked by the alt-right. But there's like an open source GitHub alternative, and I think it does a pretty good job at that.
What is it called?
Let me find it. Yeah, I think it's. Wait.
It's not GitLab, is it?
No, it's not GitLab.
Oh, okay.
Something
I love GitLab.
Berg, BERG at the end.
Yeah, GitLab's pretty nice. I've like used it very lightly, but Codeberg.
It's a GitHub alternative from Europe.
Oh,
okay.
Well, then you can trust it in terms of privacy.
That's true.
Those Europeans way more trustworthy.
At least for privacy reasons, yeah.
GitLab was actually my favorite. The only problem with GitLab was, I guess it was kind of a feature as well. It was really hard to find stuff like via Google search. Like I don't know whether they don't allow indexing or whatnot, but like if I search for a project on Google or like something, right? Like Elixir GitHub solve X, right? There's something that'll show up on GitHub. never anything for GitLab. And it's like, it's cool that their CI system is phenomenal. I think they're a little bit more trustworthy than Microsoft, but for discoverability, it just doesn't check that box, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like that it's actually a harder thing to solve too, right?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people that will self-host GitLab.
Yeah, they have that. They have that
Yeah.
option as well.
I mean, I can tell you I used GitLab for the first year of my last job, and it was absolutely terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do tell. I'm curious.
Well, of course, you can push code to it and you can do pull requests, but the entire UX, like, there are so many things wrong with it. I don't know. I don't think they have any either good designers or any designers or any UX people or people who care about UX. It's just every single time you do stuff, it feels unnatural. It feels like this shouldn't be the way it is, and it could be another way. And it's literally just UX stuff. It's not how the system works under the hood or anything. It's like how you present a button or a checkbox or a filter, that kind of stuff. And because we had our code on there, and then we also had ticket like issue tracking, with the whole like discussion part. So you created a ticket, and then people would chip in or chime in, and then eventually you would move it to, like, you would take it as a feature branch and build it. And for example, just notifications never really worked. I tried to build my own little notification system for GitLab, and then I gave up because the API is terrible as well. And yeah, like, you don't get any notifications about people pinging you, like in GitHub is not that great either, I would say. It's very noisy, but at least you see when somebody pings you on a ticket, on an issue. You can find it and they can reply to it, and you can like mark it as done. So I have a better time finding like, what's it called? When people ping me on GitHub than on GitLab. So and we had good designers in our company, and they were all like, why? This is like a concrete decision to make your product shitty. It's an actively deciding to make it in a not good way. That's what they did.
I'm sure that's what it is, right? They don't want to pay a designer, or they don't think it's necessary, so they just have their engineers just throwing together their UI.
They're full stack engineers, front end, back end, design,
Yeah.
QA, everything.
Could be that, yeah, but it's just, I mean, GitHub isn't that great either, I think, but I appreciate it much more now that I work with GitLab. And I worked with Bitbucket before that, and it's not much better either.
Oh, Bitbucket is terrible. Anything Atlassian is just god awful. Anything Atlassian is just god awful. But maybe that's the difference. I never used any of the discussion stuff. It was just like, I was a solopreneur. I was the only one committing to that GitLab repo, and their CI. This is like 3-4 years ago. The CI configuration was way better than GitHub Actions, even back then. But I mean, for that, like, if you're the only one committing to a repo and you're using CI, I feel like GitLab is pretty solid there.
Yeah, true. But actually,
unless it's changed, it's been a few years now.
Yeah, but if a really powerful CI is your, like, the feature you need, then I would rather suggest using a third-party CI. Like, you can also not use GitHub CI. You can also use like external CIs and
I'm actually looking into Dagger, Dagger.io, and apparently they have an Elixir SDK, so you can write your entire CI in Dagger. And the beautiful thing there is you can run Dagger locally, and it does like all the Docker setups. It spins up all the containers, the dependencies. Like if you need Postgres for tests and stuff like that, it'll take care of all that. And you can write the CI workflows in Elixir. And then in GitHub Actions, you just have like one line. It's like, use the Dagger Actions thing.
Nice.
So it's totally abstracted away, where you could actually develop CI locally, which is phenomenal. Like if you ever have to dive into GitHub Actions, God help you. I mean,
for real. I've used Jenkins in the past, and Jenkins is pretty nice.
I don't have fond memories of Jenkins either. What's they have like a Java dialect. What is it, Groovy or something that you have to write? And their API is terribly documented. So it's like, if you're not doing anything complicated, Jenkins works. As soon as you need to break out of this very teeny tiny sandbox that they give you, God help you.
Yeah. Like I used it for basic like iOS app deployment, and the only thing that was super annoying were freaking Apple certificates.
Yeah.
That was a pain in the butt and not well documented, but maybe they've changed. It's been a few years, so you never know.
Yeah, same. Like I haven't touched Jenkins in 5 years or something. It's been a while. I keep that way on purpose.
I mean, I recently had to touch GitHub CI, and it's just, oh my, why? I mean, for basic use cases, it works. But they're just things that you run into, and then you ask yourself why, and then you search for it, and of course there's a GitHub issue somewhere, and it's like 5 years old, and it hasn't been fixed yet. And every couple of months there's somebody new pinging, hey, when is this finally done? When is this done? You know, environment variables is one of these examples. Like, just imagine that at the top of your YAML, at your workflow, you can define your Elixir version, like with env, and then you have Elixir version 118.2, whatever. And then you can use that environment variable in every step and in every job that you define underneath. Just imagine this paradise, right? Because that's not how it works. Like if you add it to the top, you can't use it in your step. You can use it if you have a run statement. You can't use it if you have a with statement. Yeah, and then if you need to also if you define something in your job, so like your job and then environment Elixir version, right? Again, you can't use it in your with statement. You can only use it in your run statement, and it just continues that way. And then you have like variables, you have secrets, you have environment, you also have inputs and outputs. So like there are all these different magic things where you can take things from variables from basically, and just figuring that out. It's just complete. No,
I think it's one of the problems of using something like YAML, right? Where you're trying to use like a, what would you call YAML? Like a configuration language, a markup language.
Yeah.
Is that technically what it is? And like they try to use it as a programming language, and it's like this is where the pain comes from. They're trying to shoehorn a bunch of things into a language that was meant to do.
But okay, but even this is like a configuration. And if I tell you at the top of my file, these are the environment variables I want to use in every single job and every single step, right? I mean, you should be able to figure it out and like put it into the runner, runner.
So, you would think so.
You would think so. And then you find a ticket that is 5 years old, and people were like, yeah, that would be an amazing idea. And then nothing happens, and every couple of months somebody asks, like, when is this going to happen? Yeah, it's never going to happen. Man, it's just such a why. And there are things like this, right? And there might be good reasons for it. But again, if you read these tickets, there's no GitHub engineer coming in telling you, we would love to do it. We understand it's a good idea, but it's not possible for these technical reasons. Fine, right? I mean, fair enough. But there's just nothing. It's just there's one GitHub support engineer saying, well, sounds like a great idea. I'm going to push it up to the product team. And then you don't hear anything for 4 fucking years.
Well,
it's just a buried issue.
Yeah.
Well, they probably pushed it up to the product guy, and that engineer left.
Yeah, something like that.
Communication is dead.
Yeah. And then they marked it as resolved, which is the death to any issue.
The 1 year timeout for issues.
Yeah.
But Dagger seems interesting, and the fact that they have first party Elixir support, like it gives
that
me hope.
Is nice. They have a very pretty landing page.
Which gives you confidence that it's going to stick around.
They at least have a good designer.
I'll say there's a direct correlation how good the landing page looks with how long the company sticks around.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah, I like their landing page a lot. It looks good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, in my queue of blog posts, I have I always jot down my ideas when I eventually will get back to blogging, and writing a Dagger blog post is one of them.
Nice. That would be a good one.
It's also been there for 2 years, so no promises.
Yeah. You have a long list of blog posts, don't you?
I do. So,
but now you don't have a book to write anymore, so you can write blog posts, no?
Not true.
No, that's not true. I've already that was done for a few days, and I've already backfilled it with something else.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, me and Hugo have contacted my older brother to see if we could write a financial analytics book in Elixir. So my elder brother, who has a PhD in finance and economics, he's already gotten underway with it. I think he's like 50 or 60 pages in on like the financial content side of things. So like all these things that he does in, I think like he uses a lot of Excel, I'm curious what some of the other pieces of software are. I think he uses MATLAB as well. Mathematica? I don't know, one of those. But like all the stuff that he does in Excel and Mathematica, MATLAB, whatever, we're gonna replicate in Elixir and show people how to.
I haven't heard MATLAB since college. I forgot about it completely.
That's true.
Yeah, eViews is another one. That's a popular one in the financial space. eViews.
Okay.
So yeah, all these things that are done in these proprietary pieces of software, we're gonna do it in Livebook and Explorer and Scholar and NX, and then we're gonna plot everything with Vega Lite. So it's been pretty cool. I'm curious to see how it turns out because I don't know anything about this space. So I'm gonna read the content, see what he's talking about, and write code for it.
That'll be good. And I feel like it's a good topic to touch on with like float and double rounding errors and stuff, since it's all financial, and like why you don't use decimals in code.
No floats. It's all gonna be either money library or decimal library. Arbitrary precision stuff.
So then you build your own trading algorithm, and you do that from now on.
That's gonna be my life. I'm just gonna have like trading bots running.
Right.
Each gen server is its own trading bot, and it's making like atomic trades.
Finding altcoins everywhere, right? And then it all cycles back into your Bitcoin wallet.
Well, actually, there's a really good YouTube course about that, how to build your own crypto trading bot. Yeah.
There was a book too, right?
Yeah, it's a book too.
An Elixir book.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the author.
Oh, there's an Elixir book?
There's an Elixir book. Yeah. He wrote a book and he made a YouTube course about it. But the book is free. You can pay whatever you want. But
nice. Yeah. Well, we got to show. Is it cryptocurrency trading bot hands-on?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Kamal Scow.
Yep.
Kamal Scowan. I probably butchered his name.
Very nice guy, yeah. I think he struggled a little with finding an Elixir job, and I was like, dude, just show them that you wrote the book and you made a YouTube course, can't be.
Yeah. You want to post the link in the chat, or you got it?
I think I have to do it, otherwise it blocks people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
think Elixir is actually a very good fit for financial analytics and trading bots and stuff like that. I think
we got to put your book in there too.
Oh, thanks. Like Erlang's solution always publishes white papers on like fintech, and so they don't publish their customers. So my guess is that they probably have a lot of NDAs and like confidential fintech companies that they work with, because they do publish a lot of white papers. So I don't have any insider info. This is just speculation. My guess is that they probably work a lot with fintech, and I think Erlang and Elixir and anything that runs on the Beam is probably a very good fit for that kind of a problem, because you're dealing with a ton of data coming in. You're probably dealing with a whole bunch of actions that you need to perform on that data, and the concurrency model and parallelism that you get on the Beam it just makes that so much easier. Now, I mean, you could probably make something faster in like Rust and was it Tokio? Is like the big thing there, but by the time you ship something in Rust and Tokio, I mean you would have been done weeks ago in Elixir. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially now that you have what's it called, Explorer, right? With
Explorer,
the data frames.
The data frames library, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, previously, if you had like millions of rows of financial transactions, and you wanted to analyze them, that would not be, Elixir wouldn't be a great choice, I guess, for that kind of stuff. But now with data frames, definitely. Explorer and Scala.
There's a lot that's been unlocked there, and I don't think it's been fully realized yet. Like Jose and all the people at Dashbit, and everybody in the community that's going to contribute to those. Like they've put some really amazing things out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've been fully realized yet. So maybe this year will be the year of Elixir and AI and big data.
That would be wild. We got a question from Jose. Do you think it would be possible to use Elixir as an interface for work with Apache Spark, or even better, our own as a community, build our own Spark? And I wasn't familiar with what Apache Spark was. So
it's processing,
it's just a large-scale data analytics platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I use Spark in university, but we use it for data as a data processing pipeline. So you have raw data in, you have conversion steps, and then you have like aggregation steps, and then you would usually throw it.
Isn't that what Apache Airflow was for? Was like workflow stuff?
Maybe they replaced it.
That's too many.
No, Spark was actually for large scale data transfer. So if you have like, billions of tweets coming in or whatever, millions of data points coming in, and you want to scale that up, like you want to process all that kind of stuff, aggregate it. That's what you can use Spark for.
So it was the successor to MapReduce, like the elephant logo Apache project, right? Apache MapReduce.
The MapReduce
10 years ago.
Yeah, and then they had Spark. They also have like Flink, I think, and then they had Airflow now. So
yeah. Too many JVM projects. Isn't that one of the prerequisites for being an Apache project that has to be written in Java?
Probably.
Dude, I learned Java in college, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm never doing Java again. So I did Java for 2 years at Amazon. I'm never doing it again.
Oh man. Well, Java actually made me hate. No, go ahead.
I think we have a bit of lag. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was saying that like if my only option for writing software again was Java, I'd probably find another profession, to be honest. That would be preferable.
Dude, yeah, so I actually quit wanting to learn how to program because I learned in Java, and I went on to, structural engineering and took a whole different path. And then I ended up teaching myself how to code when like the Swift days, like when Swift first came out. And that's what got me back in.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a. I'm trying to be nice here. It's such a difficult language to write stuff in. Like, I can't remember the name of the project, but there's just so much boilerplate. They literally have projects where you write like those annotations in your classes, or like auto generates all your getters and setters, and it's like, why? Why is there all this like immense boilerplate, and you literally have tools to get rid of all this boilerplate, and then half the time those tools don't work. And everything is so complicated that you need an IDE in order to develop in these things. Like back in the day, I was using Eclipse, and
I was going to say Eclipse, yeah.
There was just so much tooling that we had to have in our Eclipse IDE working at Amazon, where like if anything went wrong, you could not develop for weeks, and it's like this is way too fragile. I can't do this. And after 2 years, I was done.
Man.
We're pretty spoiled these days.
Yeah. I mean, like my Elixir project, I could get a brand new laptop and I could start writing code and features within like an hour. Like fresh laptop, nothing on it. I install ASDF. I pull down the repo. I install, ASDF install. Maybe I spin up a Docker container or two, and like that's it. Like there's no ceremony. You can be productive within 1 day in these other languages. So. And like that's not unique to Elixir. That's just what I prefer, obviously. But the
only thing that slows you down with iOS development is downloading Xcode.
Like what, 9 gigabytes? So even more if you want to have different simulators.
For real.
By the way, I think I'm not sure whether we have fully answered that question, right? I mean,
no, I don't know if I fully understand where Elixir becomes unproductive with like heavy lifting of like, analyzing data and all of that. Because I would assume you could build the same concept, right? And kind of use it as a pipeline.
Well, I mean, from reading the question, I mean, can you use Elixir as an interface for Spark? I mean,
interface, yeah.
As an interface, yeah. So there is no interface yet, apparently. But yeah, you could write your own library for it. I'm not sure how easy the Spark API is or whatever you need to provide there to be an interface. But yeah, you could definitely write that yourself if you need it. And then the second part of the question was more like, or even better, could we kind of build our own Spark as a community build? And for that, I would say, well, we already have Broadway, we have GenStage. I played around with Broadway. It's good for what it does, but I didn't like what I missed the biggest problem that I had with Broadway is that you can't have multiple processing steps or multiple steps altogether. It's always like what is it? The pre-transformation, the transformation, and the batching step. So you can't have, after the batching step, you can't have another processing step, right? For that, you need to write another Broadway pipeline and then to like connect these two, which is kind of tedious because you already have your Broadway thing set up. And
I don't think Broadway was ever meant to be like a general purpose, like workflow building engine. Like I have seen Broadway confused with like Apache Airflow, where like with Apache Airflow you write a bunch of Python code and you could define your like DAG, your directed acyclical graph, for here's the starting node of the processing. I do all this step and then I fan in, fan out, and take care of all the processing that way. Broadway was never meant to be written that way. I have shoehorned it in the past to be that way when it was backed by like RabbitMQ. So like I'd have different Broadway pipelines. They'd pull data from their respective RabbitMQ queues, do the work, publish it to a different queue, and then you kind of got like very similar behavior because the different Broadways would have different configuration. And so you'd have, one would be a purposeful bottleneck. The other one would be like, all right, free for all as much as I can process type of thing. And then you deal with things that way. So that's how I've kind of filled that void in the past.
Yeah, it's a good library. I mean, it is a MapReduce library, but the problem is it only does one MapReduce step. And there's a ticket for it actually open in Broadway as well. And I think people agreed that it would be nice to have multiple MapReduce steps in the same Broadway pipeline. But I don't think, Jose and the Dashbit folks, I don't think this is their priority right now, which is fair enough, honestly.
They do enough.
Yeah, I think they contribute a lot. Enough, yeah. So that would be also an interesting, project to see whether you could extend Broadway in such a way that you can have different topologies, not just MapReduce and that's it, But if you could, I mean, it does all the things of like back pressure for you, the acknowledgement stuff. You can limit the queue size, the batch size. So like all the configuration you would need for a proper MapReduce pipeline is there. You just need to make it more extendable and more customizable. Yeah, so I'm not sure how difficult that would be, but if this is a priority to you, and if this is like a pressing issue in your business, maybe invest the time and effort into this.
Yeah, I would say also take a look at OpenPro, because with OpenPro you get first class kind of workflow constructs in there. So like if what you're doing is actually building a workflow for data, look at OpenPro, and then like if Postgres becomes a bottleneck, obviously you have to switch to something like RabbitMQ or Kafka.
I started reading this book, actually. I'm only a couple chapters in, but the concurrent data processing in Elixir.
And that's it's like a dark cover, right? With like blue.
Yeah.
Like
and
blue
it's pragmatic programming or bookshelf. And they go over like Gen Stage, Flow, and Broadway. And I think it's important to touch on those subjects and then also look into Oben and see what works for whatever you're doing, right? Whatever kind of batch processing or whatever you're trying to do, right? Because at my day job now, we use workers for so much stuff with Oben, and it's a very helpful thing to process tons of data.
And OpenPro is amazing. Like if you're in a business setting, 100% recommend OpenPro. It's like one of the first purchases you should make in terms of software that runs your business.
I agree.
Yeah, like I use it for whatchamacallit, like email sequences. I use it for like background jobs.
And you don't have to worry like about things failing and retrying. It's just all in config, you can just
it's all there. It's all there. Like the only thing that I always add to Oben is an error capturing Sentry module, and I literally have the same one that I keep copying and pasting from project to project year over year.
Sentry has that built in. Actually, you don't need that yourself anymore.
Even better.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's my understanding. But in the Sentry configuration documentation, they tell you how to just enable the Oben error trackers. I'm not sure whether it's like for the telemetry of it or whether it's for the actual exceptions, but I do think that this is for exceptions as well.
Yeah. OpenPro is one of the best pieces of software you can buy for an actual production SaaS app. And
Parker and Shannon are awesome. So
I I have a few open source libraries, and I find it tough to to keep up with all the requests and bugs and issues like that. They have something that's way more used than anything I've written, and they do a phenomenal job of keeping up with all the questions and support. And it's what they've given the Elixir community is phenomenal.
Definitely. And I think it's just the two of them for the most part, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Which is also amazing.
It's impressive. Like they're doing a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and they monetized it in a nice way, I would say, because the free open library, it's super powerful. It gets the job done. But then if you need to have that extra level of customizability, that kind of stuff, then it's 100% worth the $100 a month or so.
Oh yeah, and I think they just open sourced Open Web, right? So that's no longer something you need to pay for. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, they keep giving. That's great.
True.
Yeah, they're really cool. They had a good conversation. I had them on, I don't know, back in October, but we had a good conversation just like how you balance what is free and what's behind the paywall without like, you don't want to push people away, but you need to put food on the table. And they had a really good approach. Hey, we got Brian Cardarella. I always have to say his name slow.
Who's that guy?
Brian?
Brian, you're awesome, man. I'll have to have Brian back on. I feel like I just saw an awesome update to Beacon CMS, which is a project I'm keeping close eyes on because I just think
I was gonna say Darkyard's had a lot of projects recently that they've spearheaded and pushed forward. So another shout out to them for all the stuff they give back to the Elixir community.
Yeah. But I'm also going to pitch in my own CMS there. I just posted, I wrote a little sample guide for the MDEX library. MDEX, it's for converting Markdown to HTML, and they use the ComRec Rust library to do that. So they give you GitHub style Markdown syntax, because like pure Markdown is not the GitHub style Markdown. So anyway,
nice.
but if you want to write your blog post in the GitHub style Markdown that you know and love, then you should use MDX. But MDX doesn't work just like this with Nimble Publisher, which I use for my blog to publish my blog. So that there's a little bit of configuration you need to do, and I wrote a little sample guide for the MDX library, and it's in the GitHub repo. So if you want to like learn how I host and publish my blog with like Nimble Publisher, MDX, and LiveView, there's 100 lines of code for you right there.
Nice.
This isn't like MDX, the Markdown library, right?
That's what I meant.
No, because I think there's a Markdown library called MDX, which allows you to put like React style components in your Markdown.
Oh.
Is that this or different?
I don't think
I have. Okay, so what I pulled up, I found like a common mark compliant, fast and extensible Markdown parser and formatter for Elixir. That one.
It's by Leandro P, right?
Oh, okay.
Leandro CP, excuse me.
Gotcha.
Oh, Brian just said, fun fact, MDX was extracted from Beacon by Leandro.
So that's nice.
Dude, amazing.
Well, thanks to Dockyard then for allowing me to host my blog. Even without Beacon, even before Beacon existed. Well, I guess it existed back then, but anyway. Yeah.
MDX. Oh, okay. Yeah. So MDX, not EX, is React, and then MDEX is the common markup. That makes sense.
Okay, excuse me. It's MDEX. That's the one. Yeah, it's confusing.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I went to mdxjs.com.
No. Has nothing to do with JavaScript. It's just pure Markdown and HTML, like in the good old days.
Let's write an Elixir wrapper to bring JavaScript more into Elixir projects. No.
I already wrote that.
Yeah, he wrote it. It's there.
Yeah, it's DenoX is what I use anytime I need to run JavaScript. Because I mean, the nice thing about Deno is as far as JavaScript runtimes go, it's really, really strict on the permissions that you give the JavaScript engine. So by default, like it has no file system permissions. It's got no network permissions, like no environment variable permissions, like nothing. And which is really nice because if you need to run some sort of code that maybe you don't trust all the way, you can run it inside of Deno, and as long as there's no compromises to the to the Deno sandbox, you can rest assured that your application will be fine. So yeah, DenoX runs through a port, and it calls Deno, and then it passes all the stuff over there, does its thing, and then you can read standard out on the other end.
Yeah, it's useful if you want to run JavaScript on the server.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, if you have a client browser, it's easy to run JavaScript. But if you have to run it on your server itself or whatever stuff, DenoX is the way to go.
Yeah, I think there's also another project. I think it's called Deno Rider. I forget who the author is, but it's a more recent one into the Elixir ecosystem. And they took a slightly different approach. As opposed to having it run through a port and using the Deno CLI, it uses Deno_runtime, which is a Rust library, and it runs that through Rustler as a NIF.
Oh yeah,
I think
that's
the only drawbacks with that approach is I don't think you can do like import and then like in quotes npm : and then get the library off of npm and stuff like that. So I think with Deno Rider you have to be a little bit more creative as to how you use third-party things. But with DenoX, you can run a mix command, and it'll fetch all your dependencies. It'll create a Deno lock file, and then when Deno runs, you actually have access to all those libraries. So different trade-offs. I mean, it's not like one is better than the other. It's just different trade-offs.
Did you tell me that also DenoX is protects you better against JavaScript exceptions?
So since it runs through a port, it won't bring down the beam. Since Deno Rider runs through a NIF, if Deno runtime doesn't make use of the unsafe keyword, you should be good. But I don't know. So,
isn't that kind of a problem you have anytime you're using NIFs? I haven't really ever.
So in theory, if it's written in Rust and you're not making use of the unsafe keyword, in theory, Rust will never core dump, which won't bring down the beam. But if you are making use of the unsafe keyword and something happens inside of that unsafe block, you risk tearing down the beam with it. So again, different trade-offs.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring down the beam or not?
Yeah. YOLO.
I wish I had like a exploding button that could just go over the screen right now.
That would be good. Yeah. Sometimes you want to have that for client projects when they don't pay you. Just have a red button and the website goes offline. And then when they call you, like, oh, no, it works. I don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, man, everything's fine.
Looks fine on my side, yeah.
I see everything.
When I in my old life, when I did like manufacturing automation stuff, I never did it, but I always joked about like, if you're not paid by a client and you just like installed a whole automation thing, you could have a timer in your software that slowly makes everything out of sync for whatever equipment you installed, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Like, I don't know what's going on.
Got to get those invoices paid.
Yeah, I guess you just got to pay your invoice, and I bet that equipment will start working again.
Yeah, there's this was a CSS or JavaScript library that you can add to your website, and it slowly fades away. Like it just diminishes the opacity of everything on the entire website from one time, like until a given date, like the deadline of your invoice, basically. And at that point, the website will be barely visible, and then it will just go away. So.
That's hilarious. Now I want to find.
I think it's something like "Pay me now" JavaScript or so, or "Pay me," something like that.
It would be nice if it had like a Z index on the modal, so it's like ever so slightly it starts fading in the modal, and then eventually like you don't actually see the page anymore. All you see is the modal, where it's like click here to actually change your credit card.
The owner of this website has not paid his engineers invoices.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be funny. Just like public shame, right?
Yeah. Do you want to continue using this website? Well, send them an email here.
found your way. And then you could have another button like, hey, want to work with us?
Yeah, kind of. Well, maybe it wouldn't be the best advertisement for you, right?
That's true. You might want to hide that you did that
maybe.
one. Like, this guy's petty.
Yeah. I mean, do I want my website to fade away? I guess not. So,
I mean, all you got to do is pay your bills.
yeah. Sometimes easier said than done, right?
That's true. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I have that mostly with American customers because your banking system is just bullshit.
What do you experience? What's different?
Well, it takes a week to make an ACH transfer. And in Europe, it takes a second, and it's free. Yeah, so I'm not sure what you're up to on that side of the pond, but I don't
know either. And then they want to charge you $15 for a wire.
Yeah,
or whatever they do. Like, no, just ACH transfer, man. But yeah, I feel like they do the week holds all the time, which is irritating. And I bet it's more often for you since you're a foreigner.
No, like I have an account through Wise in America, so it's a US dollar, like properly American bank account. So it's literally within the US transfer. Yeah. And but also like my clients usually use a platform for their HR purposes. And funny enough, these platforms, they just keep your money for a couple of days and invest it into stocks and whatnot to just make some money with the payroll that you pay every month. And there's literally no reason for them to keep your money for 3 days other than investing it. That's the whole, I don't know.
Yeah, that's irritating. I've ran into that. I'm trying to think. I used to use, when I was doing contract work, what did I use? Now this is going to drive me insane. But
Bill.com is a popular one for.
It wasn't that. But yeah, whatever. Oh, no. Let me see if I can find it in my 1Password.
Find an old invoice.
Yeah, just pull it up. Screen share your 1Password. We can help you find it.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull it up.
Just ask Microsoft.
Hey, Microsoft, what did I used to use? But yeah, they would make everything that even like when I got paid, they would have it and hold it for 5 days.
Oh, man.
It's for your protection.
Yeah, so annoying. We got to make sure it clears. Like, it already cleared.
Yeah, it's in your bank account. But they got to check every single dollar note, whether it's fake or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Manually.
Hold it against the light.
They ship all the cash.
Hey, wait a second. Some of these...
the marker. Just like checking all the bills.
Some of these ones and zeros look fraudulent.
Yeah. We got to clean those for you.
It's going to take 5 days in our brokerage.
Yeah, man. But that's so ridiculous. I mean, again, in Europe, we have Swift. It takes a second to transfer money, and it's free. Like they made that free now as well. So there's no reason not to pay your bill on time.
So banking and public transportation is just done better in Europe.
I would say, and healthcare. Yeah.
And healthcare. I guess our healthcare sucks, but I haven't experienced it anywhere else to know that it's better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great here either, but at least you don't go bankrupt when you have something major,
Yeah, fair.
And in some countries, you also have a private system where you can pay a little extra if you want to go to a specialist faster. I think it's, it's okay. Like, there are different options.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is pretty good. Education, I think, is also pretty good because, we don't have Harvard and Stanford and whatnot. But, again, you don't have $100,000 of student loans when you graduate. You have zero.
How do you know you got the best education possible if you're not like an indentured servant by the end of it?
If you're not
exactly.
If you're not massively in debt, you're not you're just not educated.
Actually, how can you be motivated to work after studying if you don't have $100,000 in debt? Right?
There has to be some golden handcuffs somehow.
Yeah.
I mean.
Nothing motivates you more than
exactly
having to wake up in the morning and pay off your debt.
Yeah, I mean, you are a productive worker because of that, right? And that's good for society. And
that
here we just slack off. We take afternoons off, long lunch breaks. Nobody really works over here.
Yeah, those siestas.
Yeah, that's why. Well, maybe on the education part, you're better than us then.
I don't know. One thing I did miss out on. So my brother-in-law is Australian, and he graduated, from his university, and then skied in the U.S. for like 3 years. And I was like, oh, I did it wrong. I went right to work.
Yeah, true. Well, what did you do? The skiing or ski instructor? Kind of like
what was funny is he would just get jobs at resorts for the free lift pass. And so he would work some crappy kitchen job and then ski in all his spare time.
That is smart. Yeah.
That's a good gig. And and he didn't have interest accruing in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. And now, like, him and my sister, they're coming here for like 3 weeks on Monday. And we just started getting snow every day in Utah. So that's cool.
Oh, man.
So they'll be skiing. Yeah.
That's something I'm jealous of, actually. Yeah, we don't get any snow here at all.
I actually just left Connecticut. We're down in Florida. So
nice.
Like, this week, apparently, New England has been hammered by snow. So I just escaped it for a little bit of sunshine and palm trees.
Nice. How long are you in Florida?
Just for like 10 days.
Okay. I have a sister in Florida.
Oh, nice.
Both my sisters are in warm climates.
It's hot down here, though. It's like the day we got down here, it's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But then you adjust. Then I imagine like going back up north next week. I'm like, oh my God, it's freezing up here.
Yeah, that East Coast chill is way worse too, because you have a little bit of humidity with all that cold.
Yeah. It's been windy too. So it's like, even though it's like 10, 15, 20 degrees, it feels like it's 0 degrees Fahrenheit because the wind chill. Like going to get the mail from the mailbox it's an experience.
Peter's trying to do the Fahrenheit to Celsius translation right now.
I was literally just thinking that.
You could see his European brain can't
comprehend. I saw it. He's like, damn it.
I was about to ask you, how much Celsius? It's minus 18 Celsius for any European.
Yeah.
Who doesn't use idiots units?
They're freedom units.
Here's the thing.
Please get it right.
I really wish we used the metric system when I was in college in like engineering, because we always did use the metric system for easier calculations. Yeah. But now I don't want to switch because I don't know if my brain could handle it.
Yeah. It can. It's very simple. Even your brain will handle it. Don't worry.
We'll have to write an Elixir library for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I will.
Like, I need like wearable glasses that just translate live. So like when someone says Celsius, it's just like throws up Fahrenheit on my lens.
I will say though, because I'm both my parents are Greek, so growing up I always used to go back to Greece. I did find Fahrenheit, like there's more granularity there, right? Versus like with Celsius, you just have like 40 is hot, 38 is hot. It's like at what point does it get a little cooler? Because like with every 1 degree of Celsius, you jump like 3.5 Fahrenheit. So it's like that's a big swing. That's a big swing. So it's like 37 is still hot, but 36 is cool. So it's like you need that 81 degrees, or like 82 degrees.
You just throw an ish at the end, dude, and then it covers everything. Like 36-ish.
Yeah.
It's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, like Greece in the summer, it would hit like 40 degrees Celsius. It's like that's hot. I mean, saying like 102, that was even that sounded hotter.
Yeah, it's a lot of numbers there, big numbers.
Yeah.
But it's also weird to me though that we stopped like 32. That's freezing. Why?
Yeah.
0 makes more sense.
I think there's a sketch about it in the Saturday Night Live thing. There's a sketch about it, like, so why is it 21? Oh, nobody knows.
Yeah,
it just is, because somebody was like this, and then we have to do our own thing. We can't use these stupid French metrics that they came up with.
Wasn't that like the inch? It was like this part of your finger. Like they had like some king was like, this is an inch.
Yeah.
And about like 12 of those fit on my foot. So that's fun.
I guess, yeah. If you want to count with your hand and feet and not with like rulers and
Hey man, if you're a minimalist, you can just carry this around.
Yeah. Use a ruler when you got You got that.
I think I know the reason why the Americans don't want to use the metric system, because they don't like rulers.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how am I supposed to measure this?
That was a good one. That was a good dad joke.
Yeah, there you go. Now I'm making up my own.
The gnats down here in Florida are terrible.
Oh yeah, that sucks. They have those little like no-see-ums or whatever they're called too, that just like randomly will bite you and then you don't know where they are.
Little sandflies.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Eaten alive out here.
Why do people live in that place? It's swampy. It's literally a swamp.
But
It's a swamp. It gets hit by hurricanes.
It is February, and I went swimming yesterday and fishing. So that's
That is
why.
nice.
I can go swimming as well. What's the problem?
In saltwater and like
It's 32 degrees Fahrenheit here, or 0 degrees Celsius.
That's an ice plunge. That's not swimming.
It's swimming. I mean, Okay.
I mean, I guess I can go swimming in here too. It's just going to be a little chilly.
Not sure what your problem is, Alex.
It was swimming and enjoyable. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Do you have that tradition too, that you jump into the ocean after the first day of the new year?
We call it polar plunging. At least like
it's a Thanksgiving thing. They call it like a turkey plunge up in New England.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And so I grew up in Wisconsin along the Great Lakes. So we were on Lake Michigan. And we called it the polar plunge, where you would jump in.
And then you get like spiked up by one of these ice sheets
that
go over the lakes.
Exactly.
I see pictures. They all look like they all come out like this. And you just jump on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like in some spots, like in northern Wisconsin, they'll just cut holes in the ice and you just jump right in.
That's smarter.
They'll just take a chainsaw.
See, that's technically swimming too, but I think mine was more enjoyable yesterday.
It's we're arguing about definitions here.
Yeah.
If you're into cold plunging, there's a lot of health benefits behind it.
Yeah, supposedly that is better than you. Better
you hate
for
your
you.
life. You hate your life a little bit less because you hate this more.
Yeah.
So it makes you appreciate your life. I think that's a win. That's a win-win.
Your day only goes upwards from there. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's why people do it on the first day of the new year, because your year can only get better afterwards. I think that's why they do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, in Wisconsin, it's just like an excuse to drink beer afterwards, I think.
Yeah. That warms you up.
Everything has to like be correlated to like a drinking activity when you grow up in Wisconsin.
Yes. But what do the people do who watch other people jump into the lake?
Just moral support and probably drink.
Moral support drinkers.
They just laugh.
Yeah.
Smart.
They might be the smarter of the group, the ones watching, or the ones that didn't go at all. Those,
or they learned from years prior. So that's they're senior cold plungers. They watch how the junior cold plungers do the plunging.
Yeah, they're the smart ones. Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyway, guys, I slowly have to wrap it up because it is Valentine's Day afterwards.
Oh, it is.
And we already have 7:30 in the evening here.
I was gonna say I have an appointment with the wife. So she was understanding that we had a podcast today, but if it goes past 1:30, I think I'm trying my luck.
Yeah, they'll never let you come back on. That'd be horrible.
Never.
But we can wrap this up. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. Awesome that you guys came back on. It's a lot of fun. We got to we'll do it again. And,
yeah, for sure. I think next time we'll actually talk about Elixir.
Yeah, we might. I mean, we talked about some good tooling and stuff, so I think
we did
all right.
We dropped some nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, you guys will probably be on before, but when you come back on for your next book, that'll be a good one too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that in the next few weeks we have like a landing page up, start collecting some emails.
Awesome. Are you gonna do the same self-publish style?
Yeah, because I have all the tooling now that I put together for Elixir patterns. So I just need to copy and paste everything over, write some new markdown files, and like all the make files are written. They're going to generate PDFs and whatnot. So
that's awesome, man.
It's all done.
Everyone, check out elixirpatterns.dev, right?
Perfect.
and that book is officially launched since like a few weeks ago. So I highly recommend it for anyone. Like it's just overall, it's a good book. You're going to pick up on like new things you didn't know about in the Elixir ecosystem, and then just good stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, it will make you a better developer, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, too kind.
Otherwise, ask for your money back.
All these paid endorsements are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, hey, dude, I want to get a mountain bike, so I'll keep talking about it as much as you want me to. No.
Did anybody keep track, like how many times we said something good? Because we have to reach 5 times, I believe, was a contract.
You guys have contractual obligations.
Yeah.
You need to fulfill.
Oh, that's funny. So like one more time, it's elixirpatterns.dev. No.
I heard it's a really good book and it will make you a better developer.
You just see like a pistol barrel come into there.
Well, I always have Alex watching over me. So yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, and everyone that tuned in, thank you. Hope you guys all have a good weekend. Enjoy your Valentine's dates or whatever you guys are doing tonight. Yeah, have a good one, everyone.
Testing.